Are Labubu dolls demonic? You've probably seen these little whimsical creatures popping up everywhere on social media and on your For You page, and even on the news. But are they dangerous? Should you own one? There's a lot of Christians out there that are crying demon when it comes to these dolls, and a lot of people are concerned as to whether or not these dolls are dangerous spiritually. So what I have to say about this matter as a practicing and devout Catholic might surprise you. I have literally been seeing these dolls everywhere. My Instagram feed, my X feed, my YouTube feed, like you can't escape them. I feel like these only became popular pretty recently, and I saw a ton of Christians crying demon, and I was like, guys, come on, it's a doll. You can't cry demon at everything you see that might be creepy or evil. That's not what determines whether or not something is actually demonic. But after reading into it a little more, not of my own free will, you guys are very, very convincing, especially when you guys want me to make a video about something. I did my own research and I realized there are a lot of things that are important for you to know. And I want to preface with it's really important to be informed about things and to know and have information and to not be paranoid. Labubus were created by Casing Lung. He is an illustrator from Hong Kong, and he says that these dolls were inspired by Nordic folklore, and they're supposed to represent elves and or forest spirits that are mischievous. Nordic folklore involves superstition, stories, and customs that involve these like mystical creatures and spirits, magic, and things of that nature. It often talks about how nature is alive and it's inhabited by specific beings or spirits. Liminal spaces are also associated with Nordic folklore, spaces where supernatural things are more likely to take place or to happen. Now, pair all of that information with an episode that The Simpsons released about a toy they got for their daughter named Pazuzu, and you'll see why these dolls could be problematic. For those who are not as familiar with demonology as I am, and nor should you be, especially if it's something that freaks you out, Pazuzu is a well-known demon in the Mesopotamian religions. Despite being a literal demon and being pretty horrifying, people would actually summon him to protect them from a different demon that harmed pregnant women. Basically just like fighting fire with fire. However, it is really important that we don't get all paranoid and start looking for problems with things where there really aren't any. We give Satan way too much credit sometimes, but he is also sly and cunning, and he makes something seem innocent that really isn't. However, my worry is that the demonization of the doll is what is leading to it becoming demonic. On April 1st of 2025, the company that sells Labubu dolls did a fake recall of the dolls for demonic activity. This was meant to be an April Fool's joke, and that seems to be what had sparked this entire thing. Now, I'm pretty sure that we have all seen this image circulating on social media and literally everywhere, but very few people realize that this image is actually AI generated, and it's not what Pazuzu actually looks like. This is what Pazuzu actually looks like, and you can see there is really no visual similarity between Pazuzu and Labubus. However, now because of all of this superstition regarding Labubus has kind of taken off thanks to some Christians who are quick to cry demon before actually knowing all the facts, I think Satan likes to use that to his advantage to make us Christians seem crazy and to further the occult movement. Because when Christians so drastically renounce something, usually the occult picks it up because they want to be defiant and, do whatever Christians say is bad. I've heard about a lot of people cursing Labubus and then reselling them, or witches in general just going into a store and deciding to just curse the Labubus in general, the brand new ones even, and so that could explain some of the demonic behavior that people feel like their Labubus are emitting. However, I also feel like when we demonize something and we become superstitious about something, Satan can use that to his advantage, and demons are known to possess dolls and things of that nature. I mean, Annabelle is a great example of that. Can somebody just exorcise that doll already? Like, seriously. Apparently also it was said that a paranormal investigator who had the Annabelle doll recently passed away. I don't really know any details about that. That just like popped up on my screen literally today, and I was like, that is insane. Not that demons can actually anyone, they can't, because only God has the ability to give and take life. However, it is definitely creepy, and remember to pray for the repose of that man's soul. But basically, maybe you're feeling this dark and ominous presence coming from your Labubu doll because you got one that's cursed, or maybe it's because you're being superstitious, and being superstitious is a sin, and therefore Satan is using that against you. But who knows? At the end of the day, some people are literally just paranoid about this type of thing, and because they buy a creepy doll who's honestly pretty ugly, in my opinion. I just think it's all around just kind of like, yeah, if you buy a creepy doll and you start hearing creepy things about it, you're going to start seeing creepy things happen. Unless your doll is actually like demon infested, you know what I mean? Now, I would personally stay away from Labubu dolls because people are cursing them, but not because Labubu dolls are in and of themselves evil or demonic. They're not inherently evil. And just like a Raggedy Ann doll, a Labubu doll can, you know, have a demon that's attached to it, but that doesn't mean every Raggedy Ann doll is demonic or every Labubu doll is cursed. I think just like everything else, you need to use your discernment, and if they freak you out, don't buy one. Or if you do feel put off by the one you bought, throw it away, bless it, douse it in holy water and throw it away. But I don't believe it's this giant demonic epidemic that so many Protestant Christians are making it out to be. I did a reel about this recently, and my friend, Father Sam French, if you guys don't follow him, you should. Everybody already knows who he is. He's amazing. He's so fun. But he saw that video and he commented, reminds me of 1 Corinthians 14:23. If the whole church speaks in tongues and outsiders walk in, will they not say you are out of your mind? When Christians are too quick to label things as demonic without serious discernment, it hits outsiders as more unhinged than holy. Even if the intention is good, that kind of reckless language pushes people away before they even had a chance to encounter Christ. If our words aren't solidly founded on truth, then the actual Satan will more than happily mold them into bullets to be used against us. Father Sam has such a way with words, but he is 100% correct, okay? Stay vigilant, but some things are genuinely just kind of creepy, and that's it, okay? You don't have to read into it anymore. You don't have to go and jump on the latest trend that's circling social media and all this stuff. You can actually use discernment and time. And something that worries me about the Christians that do jump on these trends is that they're trying to get clout. They're trying to jump on this trend because it's popular right now, instead of really taking the time to go through and research and actually understand and discern whether or not something's demonic. So it does make me question a lot of these people's motives, because they know it's going to get them views, they know it's a popular topic right now, and if they did take the time to actually do their due diligence and do their research, the trend would be over by then. And I'll be honest with you guys, it literally took me like maybe 15 minutes to do any type of research into this and find out that, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. 15 minutes. But then again, some trends come and go in 15 minutes, so whatever. I really do think that screaming demon and snowballing this into something bigger is aiding in Satan's effort in some ways, just intentionally freaking people out, causing them to become superstitious, etc. And yeah, I don't think where they originated from is the best, but I was raised on Greek myths and Nordic folklore and a Native American folklore, etc. And I knew they were just that, stories. But the more power you give those stories, the more they can freak you out, and the more Satan can use that against you and trick you. I think it's good to have discernment. I think it's good to be cautious. However, it is just as unhealthy to cry demon as it is to be overly flippant about things. There are many people who will view us as extremists, and it'll push them further from Christianity. So whenever you see something trending online, don't just hop on the trend and automatically start spreading misinformation. Instead, do your own research, discern, pray about it, give it a little bit of time to calm down and for the facts to surface. Don't just hop on the bandwagon. I think these little dolls are ugly. They're not my cup of tea, and I think it's really stupid that people are paying over $100 for a toy that probably costs like, I don't know, $3 to make. But people also have free will. I don't advise you spend that much money on a literal toy, especially since there are so many adults out there today who are infantilized and they don't know how to be an actual adult, and they are a kidult. But again, every generation has had something, whether it's the Beanie Babies, the Troll dolls, now Gen Z has the Labubu dolls, but they're not demonic and they have no connection to Pazuzu. Anyways, I don't really know how to end this video, so you know what? Don't be paranoid, stay alert, and if you get the creeps, yeet them out the window. Bye guys. A huge thanks to my patrons over on Patreon for making this video happen. I would specifically like to thank Jude Crew Plus, and I'd like to thank Brian Cootie, Roger Davis, Rube's Good Brain Coffee, Darren, Jay Usetti, Dan Nunn, Sabrina, James Bell, Father Carr, George Gregory, Oliver Waite, Andrew Plowski, Alex R., James, Veronica Beck, Geraldi Guzman, Kevin Ashbrook, Michael, Paul Donovan, Christopher Woodside, Michael Martin, DJ Hawk, and Jason Sager. Thank you so much for your guys' support. I couldn't do this work without you guys. God bless you, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye!